What a difference a year makes. I can honestly say that. I know the meaning of that phrase because last year I was facing the possible end of my wrestling career as far as being an active performer. Now I had made peace with a lot of things, faced a lot of issues I had, made peace with certain tragedies that had affected me, and I was ready to move forward and enjoy my life and enjoy my career in wrestling. However, I ran into issues, issues with my back, issues with my nerves, and my wrestling career was in doubt, in jeopardy. I, for once, listened to my doctors and listened to my therapists and decided to take some time, and I had to give up the TCW title, and at TASW I had to tell the fans that I didn't know if I was coming back due to the uncertainty of everything. Just wanted to listen to the doctors. I wanted to be healthy. So I didn't do anything for a little bit. I rested, mainly, before my therapy kicked in. I listened to my doctors and such. And I was given opportunities. TCW was given the opportunity to run the show, which was a bit of an education for me, a bit of a wake-up call for me. With TASW, I was allowed to host a couple of shows, coordinate some of the shows, and consult. And I enjoyed doing both aspects of that, whether it be running the show or consulting or working with talent and whatnot. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed hosting. And being given the opportunity to consult or to run a show, I felt either company that I worked for that we needed video production. So I wanted to bring in Justin Smith with Doja Productions. We had done such great work at IWE and really created a buzz, so I felt like I really wanted to work with him again. And he was itching to get back into watching wrestling shows and editing wrestling shows and filming them and whatnot. So I felt it was a great opportunity. I felt we could look at both companies, kind of see the pros and cons of each, and kind of spoof the decision with, kind of spoof LeBron James's decision by announcing which show we would end up working for after a 6-month period or something like that. I also took time to spectate shows, to really kind of sit in the audience and see how shows were doing, see how certain guys were doing. I really got a kick out of doing a lot of that. And that went on for a few months. We created a buzz with Behind the Curtain. What started out as just kind of filming for our own amusement became a, let's do something with this footage. And then once we started putting out shows, once Justin started working his magic, it created a buzz. People started paying more attention to what Behind the Curtain was doing. And it afforded us certain opportunities. We were invited to certain shows like Doomsday, which we were both fans of. We got to do interviews with certain people, and I was running shows so I could kind of see it from a different perspective, from a production's perspective, from a fan perspective, getting to spectate. I got to go to certain shows, got to film with ACW, got to watch them, and I had watched their shows as a spectator and just kind of watched talent and got my brain picked about certain things, how certain moves worked, how certain angles worked, so on and so forth. We got to film with MPX, and they were so welcoming. And even more recently, and after I returned, we got to film at NWA Houston. So I mean, we had companies that invited us, and we learned quite a bit as far as from a production standpoint, what goes in, what works, what doesn't work. And as we were doing this stuff, and we were traveling, and I was talking to talent, and going through my therapy and my rehab, and started to feel better physically, I still wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I'd been asked, what would you do if you couldn't perform anymore? And well, I could host, I could manage, I could be commissioner, I could consult, I could book. I mean, I had done some of these stuff during my career, so why couldn't I do it after? Especially like manage, be a mouthpiece for some guys. Some guys who had issues being vocal, I could be a mouthpiece, or guys who needed mentorship, I could help them in that respect, or teaching guys. I love to teach. I love to tutor and whatnot. As my therapy progressed, I got the green light to start working out. Not weights, just working out, just to lose some of the excess weight I had gained. And I lucked out in a way. I mean, the first thing I found, and really on a little mini vacation, I seen the infomercial for this. And I had heard about this from a few guys while I was doing P90X. That was a workout that had helped me through injury. But it was Insanity that really got the ball rolling for me as far as cardio, because I was really looking at cardio. I wanted to lose weight just to lose weight. I wasn't really concerned about what I was going to do in the wrestling ring, because I really wasn't sure if I was going to wrestle. I had a lot of apprehension about it. But that definitely helped. And then I started lifting weights. I got the green light for that. My therapy ended. My therapy sessions ended. I felt a lot better. I felt 100% better than I had felt when I walked in the door that first time. And I felt I had made strides, and made strides with my diet, but Insanity really helped in a lot of respects. And then I got the bug, and I started to feel like, okay, let's go to a wrestling ring, and I could go to TASW school. Luckily they were gracious enough to allow me to come in and see if I could train, see if that was even feasible. So I took, about a month and a half of going a couple times a week just to see if my body was okay with it. The first few bumps, and I took it really slow. I kind of went back to like the first days of my training and really, got back into the technique of bumping and whatnot, because I really wanted to protect myself and see if it was even realistic, running the ropes and the physicality that would be involved. But things started to feel good. And with weight training and Insanity, I started to feel a lot better. And I started to think, well, if I'm going to come back, why am I coming back? What would be the reason? I covered a lot of this on Lucha Lounge episodes, past ones. And I thought long and hard about what I would like to do, and a lot of it was, there was some stuff that I felt like unfinished business, so to speak. There were certain titles I hadn't gained, there were certain guys I hadn't faced, there were certain guys that I would like to face again, certain companies that I'd worked for, other companies that I hadn't worked for, and I thought, man, especially once I started spectating, once we started going with Behind the Curtain, it was like, man, I would like to do this again, and I could really enhance a show. So I started putting that into my head and really weighing my options and talking to my doctors and really kind of with the training and everything, and I started to feel better. And I was like, well, let's give it a shot. If I'm going to do this, let's do it right. Let's train properly like I had been. Let's diet properly. Let's get in the right mindset. Let's be someone that other guys in the locker room, younger guys, can look up to. That promoters, feel, add something to a show. And more importantly, with Behind the Curtain, being able to be somebody that the camera liked as well. I mean, they liked me, in the car segments, but doing the physicality and doing matches, I really wanted to look the part, so to speak. I wanted to change and evolve somewhat as far as what I wore, and go back to some things like trunks, and go back to, kick pads, and take the shirt off and whatnot, and get a new shirt, new t-shirt and whatnot, which I'll talk about this in a second. So, I talked to a couple promotions that I'd worked for, and, we discussed some things about, potentially coming back and what that would mean, and everybody was so gracious and so welcoming. And I really thought, man, it would be good. So in October, I announced my return. I went to TASW. That's kind of one of the places I announced that I wasn't going to come back, or I didn't know if I was coming back. So it was good to announce. And I had made this statement that I would be coming after a title, because I felt like, well, that gives me it's a built-in reason to come back, and it's not just to come back for coming back's sake. It's there's a purpose, there's a goal. I wanted to have a goal. I wanted to be kind of goal-oriented, because I felt like that would drive me and force me. If you're on top of the card, or you're the champ, I feel like you're the face of the company, or the poster child. You're the guy representing. So I wanted to represent. I wanted to actually put the pro in professional wrestling, and I wanted to act the part and be the part and all of that, and show these guys, what I could do, and that I hadn't lost a step and whatnot, and that my comeback wasn't wasn't egomaniacal, that I really had something behind it. And I lucked out in some respects. One of the companies that first called me in and invited me was Gulf Coast Power Pro Wrestling. And I can't thank those guys enough for being so welcoming. They really gave me added incentive, and they kind of put me on the spot. They made me the main event. My first show back was a main event at this show against Max Muscles, a guy I hadn't worked in years, but it was an opportunity to work Max, and I've always enjoyed Max's work, and then it was for the title. I thought, man, this is awesome. And it seemed everything kind of came into place, and the same thing at TASW was like, well, you know, if you climb the ladder and get some wins, you know, your momentum's at the right time, Humble Rumble, you know, next year, this year, 2012, the 19th annual, there you go. And I worked hard, and at first, the first few matches of my comeback, even though I'd been training, I still, you know, I'd get winded, and I'd lose my wind pretty quick. I'd blow up pretty quick. And a lot of it was psyching myself out and being more vocal and, you know, talking more. You know, even when I was doing Insanity, I wasn't really talking. I was just focusing on the workout. And being as vocal as I am and placating to the camera and placating to the fans, you know, it was just, could be overwhelming at times. The first few matches, I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. There were instances where once I caught my second win, I was good to go, but it was catching that second win. But everything seemed positive. I felt good. I felt good for the most part. But I knew that, you know, I wanted to do more and start lifting weights and whatnot. And around December, after 3 months feuding with Max Muscles and kind of making an impact and kind of showing fans that I meant business, I earned this. The Gulf Coast Power Pro Wrestling Heavyweight title. Man, Glory and Pain 7 was the event, and I won a no-rope battle royal and challenged Max Muscles for the second time that evening, and I came out victorious. And I've since defended this a few times, and again, man, I look forward to continuing to defend this one. But the start of the year, I decided I wanted to add to my repertoire. I wanted to add to my cardio workouts, and I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I found Insanity Asylum. And man, this was tough. Very tough. My diet was still okay. I was working on it. It was still a work in progress. But I was still making strides. I was still, you know, slimming down and with weight training and whatnot. And this, I was on my way. But something started to give me cause for pause. I started to get back pain again. I started to be concerned about it. I went to massage therapists and had them look at it, and you know, I was in pain here and there, and it wasn't really a happy feeling. I was doing so much jumping around, so much moving around, and I was wondering what was it? And I felt like maybe I could change my diet even more, and I went to the South Beach diet most recently, like in February. After a double shot, it kind of hit me that I needed to really focus on my diet. I've been told constantly that it's diet and exercise, but diet's the most important thing. And I finally listened and changed my diet to the South Beach diet. Those first few weeks were pretty rough. But I wanted to prepare. Not only because I was champion at Gulf Coast Power Pro Wrestling, but because I was starting to get in line for another title at TASW. But again, my back was giving me some issues, and it wasn't wrestling. It was just the jumping around and the constant moving, and I wondered what it was. And I'll admit, I'm one of those guys that yoga's not really something I look at. I'm like, oh, yoga. And I tried it with P90X, Yoga X, really hard, an hour and a half, and it was hard, very hard to get used to, and I was really intimidated by it. But then I started to, I had heard about this workout before and kind of put it off on the back burner, and had heard about some interviews from like Chris Jericho and a few others who put over DDP Yoga. And I started doing it. And I like DDP Yoga because it does give you options of how to modify and how to change up stuff. And I started incorporating that 3 times a week because that's what my schedule called for. I've been doing that for a little over a month, but you know, getting a little ahead of myself. In March, another one of my main goals with coming back, but the goal I admitted to everyone, finally came true. At the Humble Rumble 19, I defeated Mysterious Q for this piece of glorious hardware, the Texas All-Star Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. After 9 years, and not so much 9 years like consecutive, but 9 years, you know, ever since I first walked into that company's door, I had looked at this belt as one of those goals, one of those things I wanted on off my wrestling bucket list. I really wanted to mark off, and I'm finally able to, after having won it at Humble Rumble 19. And I've defended it successfully since. So there you have it. It's been a crazy year. It really taught me, it gave me a newfound respect for the business, having seen it from so many different angles, being able to consult and book and work with talent and be held in high regard and doing interviews and whatnot. You know, I created this newfound sense of respect for it, more respect than I've had, that I thought I could possibly have. I have even more respect for it. I found that I have to hold myself to a pretty high level if I expect everyone to be at that level. And I want to be the example that guys can kind of follow. I want to put the pro in professional wrestling because I feel I'm that guy. I want to give everyone a reason to mark out. And I want everyone to know there's no show without me. So yeah. Now, future, you know, no one can predict. And after last year, it kind of showed me that you never know. But I'm going to continue wrestling for as long as I feel good. I feel great with my diet and with yoga and throwing in Insanity here and a new weight program. I'm always changing up my weight program. I feel better than I've felt in years. I'm probably at the best weight I've been in you know, I'd say at least a decade. I'd say at least 5 years. I've been, you know, I'm in the best shape I've been in, and I'm only getting better because I'm always working to improve, because I want my win to be better, and I want to give the fans an exciting show, and I don't want to look like I'm lacking in any area. I'm not planning on going anywhere, obviously. I just got these shirts made. Right now, these shirts are only on sale where I'm at. This is kind of the first run. If all goes well, then I'll start shipping them out. So right now, like this Saturday, I'll be in Galveston, Texas at, you know, defending my TASW heavyweight title against Ruthless Ryan Davidson, an old friend of mine. I'm very much looking forward to this match, and but he's not getting this. No, sir. No, ma'am, he's not getting this. I've worked too hard for this, and so yeah. And I owe him after last time we were in Galveston, but yeah. So they'll be on sale. These will be on sale. $10, any size, $10. Got plenty of sizes, so hit me up if you're in the Galveston area. On the 5th, I will actually be defending my Gulf Coast Power Pro Wrestling Heavyweight title in Beaumont against Jared Steele, a guy I haven't faced in years. And man, I hold that guy in the highest order, so I mean, my title is in jeopardy, but I'm going to do everything I can. Anyone who's seen me defend this knows I will do anything to defend it. But these shirts will also be on sale there. I know that moving forward, you know, some of the companies that we filmed with behind the curtain, like MPX, like ACW, like NWA Houston, are definitely companies that I would like to work with, see if we, you know, what we could do. I'd like to keep winning titles. I'd like to, you know, definitely be successful and defend these for a long time. This one or this one. So I'm looking to keep these for, you know, that's the immediate goal, is to keep those sell my shirts and, you know, build more merchandise as we move forward. Aside from that, like I said, the companies that I would like to work for, I know May 12th I'm making my ROW debut, and it, in a way, is kind of a reunion of sorts. It's Booker T's promotion. He rebranded it. It used to be PWA, and now it's ROW, and it's the Reality of Wrestling. And the Reality of Wrestling is they need a guy like me on their roster, and I'm hoping to show out and prove to everyone there is no show without Steve DeMarco. I plan on traveling more, if possible, working for different companies. But again, I do have some titles to defend. So, I mean, I have these shows to be concerned with, and then there'd be other shows that I would like to work for. There's shows throughout the Houston area that I'd like to work for, and elsewhere. Like I said, you know, any show that we filmed behind the curtain, you know, any shows we filmed behind the curtain at, I would definitely like to be a part of. I definitely want to continue to work hard and improve and learn and teach and give back to the wrestling community. I'm not ready to hang it up. I'm getting new gear, which will debut this Saturday. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, overall, man, I'm just in a good place. I'm in a very good place. I'm very much looking forward to what the future holds. At the same time, I am enjoying the ride because I don't know how long the ride's going to last. And I definitely just want to enjoy it, man. Bring some positivity bring some fun and bring some entertainment and bring some good times. And I hope everyone that's watching this, if you're in the area, if you see me on the card, be sure to stop, watch, because you're going to be guaranteed to DeMarc out. Feel free to leave me your comments, questions, concerns, all of that, and I will be sure to answer them. Be putting out videos every week moving forward, talking about who my opponent is and the promotion and whatnot, you know, the titles I'll be defending. But like I said, this Saturday, very important matchup. Very important matchup for this title that I've worked very hard to get, and finally have the Texas All-Star Wrestling Heavyweight title, and I'll be defending it against Ruthless Ryan Davidson, a guy I'm no stranger to, and a guy I'm very much looking forward to competing against. I know he brings a lot to the table. He's one of the top guys in the Indies. I mean, he's on the cusp of greatness. Some say he's already great. I would be one of them. I know it's going to be a hard-fought battle, and I'm looking very forward to it. So if you're in the Galveston area this Saturday, feel free to stop by, get your DeMarc Out t-shirt. Other than that, leave a comment, you know, subscribe, do what you do, friend me, like me, do what you can. Pass the word, let everyone know about Steve DeMarco. Pass the word, let's get me going places. Appreciate all the feedback, all the support. And as always, as I like to always end these, you know, you want to stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. But true people that are cool, sexy, and classy, they have one of these $10, and you can officially tell everyone you love to DeMarc out. Until the next time, later.